Good morning and Merry Christmas. I am KHOU 11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez. The National Weather Service, we have some good news. They are now not including Harris County under that severe thunderstorm watch, but they are still including our coastal areas until 6 o'clock in the morning. It's looking more likely that these storms are definitely weakening as they go through our area. Now the rain beginning to end for the Houston area, more of the lightning and heavy rain activity bearing down on Galveston at the current moment. And so our current live view at Galveston right now showing lots of lightning with these storms as they're nearing the coast. Looking at that rain, you're able to see the sheets of rain as well as those wet roadways, and you're able to see some gusty winds out of this out of the area as those palm trees are blowing in the wind. So lightning still an issue across our coastal areas as we head into the next several hours. It's Galveston, our coastal areas, now getting the blunt force of these storms that were moving to the Houston area. So if you see behind these storms, you're seeing the rain end for the Katy area, even Waller County, Grimes County, Brenham, not even seeing any rain at the current moment. However, a flood advisory is still in effect for the Houston area. This does include all of Houston until 5 o'clock in the morning, as we've seen some problematic roadways across the Houston area. So we're looking at 45 north at Tidwell. If you're able to see the frontage road right now, you're seeing water completely covering the frontage road. We've had some reports of a couple of stalled vehicles. It's looking like the main lanes are smooth sailing, but it's those frontage roads that are still wet, as well as water kind of covering those roadways across the area. So minor flooding, ponding on roadways, still definitely possible as rain is now beginning to end for Houston, but we're still seeing some areas from downtown all the way to the Hobby Airport area still enduring some moderate rainfall. But the good news is that the lightning now ending for Houston, which is a hint that the storms are weakening as they're nearing the coastal areas. But if you are in Galveston, a marine warning still in effect for our coastal areas as we head into the next few hours. Looking at the wind gusts, we are seeing some fairly gusty conditions along the coastal areas. Winds between 35 to 40 miles an hour. Not really too significant in terms of any damage potential, but we are expecting those gusty conditions to still be in place, especially for areas just offshore Galveston Island. But other than that, that rain still bearing down on the coast. Even Angleton, portions of Brazoria County still seeing that rainfall. Future Track has this line of storms moving out of the area by 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning. The good news is that we are expecting a dry outlook for the rest of our Christmas day. So we're not going to see this rainy activity pose a problem for the rest of our afternoon hours. We're expecting those conditions to clear on out as we get closer towards the 6 o'clock hour. That threat will be ending for the Houston area as we look at this front that's moving through. We're not expecting any temperature fluctuations with it. We're still going to be fairly warm, but we're expecting this to continue its track towards moving through the area. But the good news is that for our Christmas forecast, getting up to 73 degrees with partly cloudy skies. So enjoyable weather definitely expected. The ground still may be a little bit soggy as we head into the next few days, but just to also keep in mind that we have another weather system on the way for Thursday. So be on the lookout. Pay attention to the forecast if you are traveling home, because we could see another weather system bring some more rain heading into Thursday for tomorrow. So expecting a rainy travel outlook going home, an unsettled weather pattern lasting at least through the weekend, but we are expecting this temperature trend to still be rather warm in nature going into the next several days. So overnight lows in the 60s and 70s, mid 70s by Friday. We could still see an isolated storm or two by Saturday, but the good news is that we are getting a break from this rain once it ends this morning, especially across our area. So as we look at that hail threat, we did see some reports of some hail with these storms that were earlier this morning. We've had 1-inch diameter hail potential with the storms, but we're expecting those conditions to continue to still be a little bit dicey for areas along 45 towards Galveston, as we're still seeing some moderate to heavy rainfall in that minor flooding threat that currently is still in place. So that flood advisory, the National Weather Service still keeping that flood advisory in until 5 o'clock this morning. That does include Fort Bend, Harris, Montgomery counties. It includes the entire city of Houston, or most of Houston, as they're still seeing some rumbles of thunder and some moderate to heavy rainfall along 45. So those roadways still wet, and they might still remain wet as we head into the early morning hours. And like I said before, the heavier rain activity now moving through Galveston with lots of lightning, lots of rumbles of thunder, and we are seeing some gusty winds out of those storms. Not damaging, but still significant enough to probably keep you awake if you are along the coast. The good news in all of this is that none of these storms are severe warned as of now. We're seeing sort of a weakening trend with the storms as we progress through the morning, which is good news for all of us here in southeast Texas, as the National Weather Service is now peeling back on those counties that were included in that severe thunderstorm watch that was in place. It was in place until 6 o'clock this morning, but they're now including our coastal areas as we head into the next few hours. So live look right now, looking at Galveston, seeing those conditions, lots of heavy rainfall occurring across the Galveston area, and we're seeing those gusty conditions with those storms, but we're not seeing any significant rotation on radar. We saw that earlier this morning around the midnight hour, but we're also seeing those conditions therefore sort of calm in nature as we head into the next several hours. But of course, we are still tracking the latest weather forecast in terms of our weather conditions. But the good news is that rain now about to come to an end for Houston. You're still probably hearing that thunder though, but just keep in mind that we will see this rain wrap up within the next maybe 30 minutes to 40 minutes for Harris County as that front is continuing to move along the coastal areas. And of course, we're still tracking the latest weather forecast, especially as we head into the rest of our holiday week, as on KHOU.com as well as on the KHOU 11 app. And again, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your weather update, and have a Merry Christmas.